You are. Oh, shite.
That is good. That's officially November. The cooler weather is here. That's why I'm in a flannel. So, last night we went to a Halloween party. Got back home way too late. Way past my bedtime. So, I'm off to a bit of a slow start this morning. That's alright. It is what it is. I'd still like to try and make it to the gym at some point today. I don't know. Don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I should probably eat something first before going. And then I'll try and take you guys along with me. I don't know how long or, well, not how long, but how busy it's going to be in the gym. Day after Halloween. I'd like to think there would be a lot of people hungover from last night, so hopefully not too crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'll bring it along with me. See what happens. If it's too busy, then obviously I'm not gonna record the workout. But yeah, we'll see. See what happens. Should be a good one. That'll be the last pull workout that I do on this day for probably quite some time, because next week I'll be completely switching up my routine, going from what I've been doing for the past few months, which is a 2 push and 2 pull days with a single leg day, and then trying to incorporate the other leg day as a day for some kind of cardio. So whether or not I go for a run or lately it's been the skate park, although there was a couple weekends where I wasn't able to do that. So we'll see. But anyways, like I said, going from that, next week will be changing, where I'll now be doing 2 leg days a week to really see if I can get them to grow, and then basically incorporating what would have been my second push or pull day kind of into one day, probably on a Saturday, where I can spend more time with them and, you know, don't feel rushed like I normally would during the week. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And then if I can't get any video of the workout, I'll check in with you guys later. All right, so I was about to start getting ready to go to the gym, but we just had a package arrive, so we're gonna open it up and see what's inside. I can open the box. Plugs here. It's like trying to open up a Christmas present. Look at that. Alright. Give me a minute. Get this thing unwrapped. Make sure there's not anything else in here. I've just got a packing label and a sticker. So I'm going to go ahead and move that box out the way. Nice. So, if you're wondering what this is a new billet aluminum fuel rail for my 1994 Toyota Celica that is behind me, with the red top beam swap. So this is going to be going on there. Yeah, take a look at that. Nice and shiny. That's going to be going on that. To make more room for the individual throttles that I've put on there, which that setup is not quite done yet. I'm still waiting for the velocity stacks to come in from Australia, and then as soon as those come in, that should be the last piece of the puzzle to getting that set up. And then I'll have to have it retuned, because when I originally had it tuned, it was for the stock manifold and custom intake setup that I had on it. So it'll need to be retuned for the ITBs, and the ITBs that I am using are the 4AGE 20 valve blacktop. Those are mated to the engine using an adapter plate from JSP, which is the same place where I got this new fuel rail from. I'm also using their vacuum plate, or vacuum manifold, and then using the idle air control valve or idle air valve from Panic, which works directly with that vacuum manifold. So pretty straightforward setup. The guys over at Panic were able to make me a little patch harness that'll go from the stock wiring harness that I have in the car and adapt that to the throttle position sensor for the ITBs, because it does use a different throttle position sensor than the stock beams TPS. So they were able to make me actually two separate patch harnesses, one to adapt to the 4A TPS, and then another to go back to the stock beams TPS if I ever wanted to. So that was nice of them. And then they also supplied me with the pretty sure it was a patch harness, or no, not a patch harness, but the pigtail that goes to the idle control valve also plugs into the stock harness for that as well. So very streamlined, very straightforward setup, and I can't wait to get this thing tuned and running right and see what it makes. But I do want to see kind of what this is it's gonna look like on there, what all is gonna be involved in switching this out. I imagine I'm gonna have to probably replace the O-rings for the fuel injectors, and then this should work as pretty stock standard. I believe. I don't think I need anything special. I can use the stock fuel lines if I want to, as well as the stock fuel pressure regulator. But I'll probably mess with that a little bit more today. And then, yeah, so real quick, I'll kind of show you what's going on with that, what that looks like. And then it's now 12:30, so I'll probably have some pre-workout and then head over to the gym. So yeah, let's do that. All right, so here is my 1994 Toyota Celica with the red top beam swap, like I was talking about. And then back here, I don't know how well it's gonna be able to pick that up, but you can see the individual throttles sitting back there. Very, very tight space. So I'm waiting for those velocity stacks to come in from Australia. They were from SQ Engineering, and they are a 30 millimeter length, which was the shortest I was able to find from anybody that makes velocity stacks for these. And then of course, due to the shipping tariffs, Australia wasn't shipping anything to the US, so I had to wait, over a month before I was even able to place the order. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with this. And yeah, maybe in a future video I'll go into more detail about everything that I've done to this. I'll definitely do a future video once I take it to go have it retuned. But until then, yeah, that's kind of everything that's going on with that. Well, today is Sunday. I wasn't able to make it to the gym yesterday due to come down with a pretty severe migraine, which ended up with me having to lay in a dark room for a couple hours to try and get it to go away. So here we are. It's the next day. I just got to the gym and sipping on some pre-workout. Wait to finish this up before I actually head in. We got some, Transparent Labs, stem free, peach mango flavor, really good. Pinch of sea salt, and then 2 scoops of creatine for the pre-workout. Lately I've been on the 2 scoops of creatine in pre, where I used to do it post-workout with a shake, and I feel like I've noticed quite a bit of difference as far as my performance and overall output on the lifts. And then, I guess I could say the same thing with the added sea salt too. Definitely notice a difference in strength, overall like muscle contraction, that sort of thing. So keep going with that. Today, let's see, take a sip of this real quick. I don't forget. So today, do what I was supposed to do yesterday, which was going to be a pull, which we got some sort of a lat pull down, seated row, hammer curls, single arm row, and then finish it off with some sort of bicep curl. For the past few months, I was doing like strictly pull-ups, like weighted pull-ups. I've switched over back to doing like some sort of lat pull down, either cable or plate loaded, and I've been liking that. And then for rows, I usually do some sort of row movement. It was for a while pen lay row or a barbell row. I'll say that right. So now that's been a seated chest supported row, which I've been liking that. I feel like I get a pretty good contraction in the lats and the rhomboids and traps, kind of like the mid-back area, as long as I focus on contracting those muscles. And then for curls, I was doing two different types of curl movements. One with a focus on having my arms in front of my shoulders, and then the other with my arms being behind my shoulders. So that either being a Bayesian cable curl or like set up a bench on a slight incline and grab a pair of dumbbells and doing curls that way. Now I started doing hammer curls to get, a little bit different activation, hit the different heads in the bicep, and I've been liking those a lot. So yeah, that's kind of the plan for the workout. There's surprisingly a lot of people here, it seems like, so I'm still kind of undecided on whether or not I'm gonna bring the camera in with me. But if I don't, I'll let you guys know how it goes. Alright, so I bitched out. There was way too many people in the gym, or at least more than I felt comfortable with walking around the entire gym with a camera and a tripod, getting in people's ways and shit. But overall, it ended up being a really solid workout. Hit a couple PRs, and like I said yesterday, starting this coming week, which will be the first full week of November, I think I'm going to be switching back to morning workouts. So 4 a.m. ish. Just gotta get it out of the way. That way I don't have to deal with the, typical 5 p.m. crazy crowd of people that are usually here at the gym. Aside from that, also, like I said, I'll be changing up my routine, so I'm kind of excited to see how that goes. And I'll probably start bringing you guys along with me for those, because I know typically in the mornings, at least when I used to come that early in the morning for a period of time, there typically isn't too many people here. So we'll see how that goes. Aside from that, I think that's all I've got, and I'm probably going to wrap this thing up here because I think it's gotten a little bit longer than I had originally intended it to be. Obviously, I would have liked to have gotten a workout in and, kind of gone through that and showed you guys what that looked like. But that's all right. There's still plenty of time for that, so we'll just take it one day at a time. All right, take care.